Let's take two books that have been much discussed. The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue, and I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me.
Senator John Kennedy stepped into the spotlight by challenging what kinds of books are being placed in schools and libraries, and who gets to decide what children are exposed to. What followed sparked outrage, applause, and a nationwide conversation. The focus is on book bans and censorship in schools and libraries. Senator John Kennedy takes the lead, questioning witnesses about materials available to children. The room feels tense because this isn't abstract theory. It's about real books, real kids, and real values. And if this conversation matters to you, now is the perfect time to click the subscribe button, because these debates are shaping the future of education and culture right now.
I confess I'm a little confused, and I appreciate the argument or discussion that we've been having, but for me it's a little too conceptual or, I don't know, metaphysical or theological or whatever you want to call it. I want to try to understand what you're asking us to do. Let's take two books that have been much discussed. The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue, and I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain. Close quote. All Boys Aren't Blue. The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Okay? Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote. Now, Mr. Secretary, what are you asking us to do? Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this...
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But what I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's point.
What are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
You're getting conceptual again.
I'm not getting conceptual.
Well,
I'm saying that...
you are. Yes, you are. Because I want to know what you're recommending. It sounds to me like what some of you are saying, the librarians should decide Who gets to see that book?
I'm saying when individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a rape scene, should that book be pulled from our libraries? I think it becomes a slippery slope.
I think you ought to think about it a little bit more before you come here.
I've thought about it,
Senator. If you're going to propose something, you ought to be able, in 30 seconds, to be able to explain what you're asking us to do. Ms. Kelly, what do you understand? Well, let me skip you for a second. Mr. Cameron, tell me what you're proposing.
It's pronounced mix.
Mix? Is that how would you like me to refer to you?
Senator, your definition of sexual is synonymous with LGBTQ identity.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you to tell me you read those two excerpts.
Genderqueer.
Do you think that, are you asking that only librarians and not parents have any say in whether minors can read those books? Is that what you're saying?
Genderqueer has never been in my school library, so it's never been banned.
Well, suppose it was. Should it be up just to the librarian, or should parents have a say?
There should be facilitation of collaboration between students,
should parents have
and
a say?
Parents should be working with students and educators to be making decisions, because students are...
And who decides ultimately? The librarian, or do you take a vote, or who takes the vote?
Book review committees in the community in my school district.
You want a committee to decide?
There are committees.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you, how do we decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available in the library? What would you, if you were running things, what would you do?
All Boys Aren't Blue, the scene you mentioned, is about sexual abuse.
I know what it's about.
It's not
What
erotic.
would you do in terms of making the books available? Would you say anybody can see them, or they have to be in a special session?
Students who do not read books like All Boys Aren't Blue cannot learn what is appropriate.
I understand that.
They cannot learn.
I understand, but none of you want to
abuse.
answer my question. You come here and you say censorship is bad, and of course it's bad. But the obvious response is, okay, you heard the books we're talking about. Okay, we're not talking about Catcher in the Rye. So tell me what you want, who gets to decide. And all I've heard is the librarians. And parents have nothing to do with it. And if that's your response, what planet did you just parachute in from?
Parents, Senator.
Or what country, more appropriately? This is not China.
Parents, Senator, for all due respect, parents absolutely have a say. My parents were immigrants, came to this country. We never checked out books without our parents seeing what books we were reading. They encouraged us to read books.
Mr. Secretary, I understand this is good for your politics back home.
It's got nothing to do with my politics. My bill is passed.
Of course it does. It has everything to do with your politics.
I'm here to...
But you came here with a problem, and I'm trying to understand the solution, and you don't have one.
We solved the solution.
Other than to tell us that we don't agree with you, we'll be on the wrong side of history.
We solved the problem in Illinois. We fixed it. Because we
well, there are others you could work on.
Well, that's why I'm
out
here
of
to help.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
To help other states make these decisions.
Senator Kennedy began reading explicit passages directly from books like All Boys Aren't Blue and Genderqueer. The language is graphic, sexual, and deeply uncomfortable to hear aloud. His point is clear. If these passages are disturbing in a Senate chamber, should they really be accessible to minors in school libraries? This is where reactions split sharply, some nodding in agreement, others visibly upset. Hit the subscribe button as we continue. Here's where the heart of the debate lives. Kennedy presses witnesses with a simple but powerful question. Who decides what content is appropriate for children? Should librarians alone make that call, or should parents and lawmakers have a voice too? The exchanges grow confrontational. He interrupts at times, demanding clear answers instead of vague explanations. And if this conversation matters to you, now is the perfect time to click the subscribe button, because these debates are shaping the future of education and culture right now. Critics fire back hard. I hear arguments that reading explicit excerpts aloud strips them of context and turns serious literature into shock material. They say this tactic sensationalizes complex stories and unfairly targets LGBTQ+ voices. On the other side, supporters argue that context doesn't erase explicit content, and that parents have a right to know exactly what's available to their kids. To them, this isn't censorship, it's age-appropriate oversight. I'm not surprised this clip went viral. It represents something bigger than one senator or one hearing. It's the front line of the culture war over parental rights, LGBTQ+ themes, education, and free expression. People see their deepest values reflected in this debate, and that's why emotions run so high. At the end of the day, this moment forces a question none of us can avoid. How do we protect children while also protecting freedom of expression? Senator Kennedy's approach angered some and energized others, but it undeniably pulled the issue into the open. This debate isn't going away. And whether you see this as necessary accountability or dangerous censorship, one thing is certain: what happens next will shape classrooms, libraries, and families for years to come. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, if you haven't already, tap that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.